we kind of ran short on time last night and didn't have a whole lot of time to talk about how you can take the basic knowledge that we've covered so far with React and use that to start working on TicTacToe. So I thought I'd do that now, for one thing, so we don't run into any technical difficulties at home like we did it with the projector in class, and also so we can just reinforce these good habits and whatnot. So the first thing I did, again, this is that same create React app thing that we did last night. Um, we just used, if you need to jog your memory, create React app, and then the name of the app, which was my first React app, which you can see right here. You'll want to make sure that you are in a good workspace. So I usually just keep my stuff in documents, and then I have folder for ACA. You might have one that's called GitHub. You might have one that's called like development or code, whatever you want to do. So yeah, generate your project, change into the directory, and then over here I have a server running already, but you can do the same thing just with yarn start. If you don't have yarn working, you can use npm start. That will work just fine. Okay, while that starts up, let's go ahead and I have the index.js open, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that thing the way it is. We could change this name to game or something like that, but it's not mission critical for right now, so we're just going to go ahead and leave it. So I'm going to go ahead and open app.js, and this, by the way, this is like kind of the first thing I start doing when I generate a project with Create React App. I just start doing like going through here, deleting stuff I don't need, which I'm going to do now and then talk about a little bit more, okay? So I'm going to, let's see here. I do like to reuse the styles because they're already written, might as well use them. I don't need that, and I don't need, maybe I'll keep that. And this is that header thing we wrote already last night, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that as well. I'm just going to say hi right here so I see something if it works, right? And leave the app.css. And the other thing I'm going to do is change this to a functional component. So I'm going to do function app props, okay? And do all that, and okay, so that should be good. Alright, now let's see here. Checking the console, see if it still works. It still works, and there we go, it's working, okay? So that's like a pretty straightforward like one of the steps you take no matter where you are in a React project. You do one thing, you get it working, you check for errors, you see if it's rendering. Okay, pretty straightforward. That would also be a point where you would commit. You would do like, you would add your stuff, right? And then you would commit, say like update app.js, right? Commit messages are in this present tense like this usually. There are different ways that people phrase commit messages, but you can't go wrong with this format. It's you shouldn't do like app.js, or you shouldn't do app updated or updating usually. Just do your best to keep it in the present active tense. So let's see here. So we have function app. It's returning some nonsense right now. What I want to do is actually now I can start building this thing out. Okay, so we've got index.js, which is containing app.js, and I want app.js to contain like board and square and whatever other pieces we might need. We'll only worry about the board for right now, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just gonna make board.js a new component, and I'm gonna go ahead and open it. Okay. All right. First thing we do, import React from React, and then start writing the component. Board props, and we do return div, right? And so far so good, right? And we'll go ahead and do, let's see here. Just gonna say board, right? So I always do this. I always just render silly stuff, not silly, but you know, uninteresting static things, and then make sure it shows up. You know what I mean? Just I try to make as few assumptions as possible as I can about whether or not stuff is working before I really know that it's working. Okay, so last thing to do is export default board, okay? And then if we go into app.js, we can import it, okay? Import board from /board. Oops. Yikes. Okay. From /board. All right. Cool. Make sure we get the semicolon. And then the last thing to do is just to add it. Okay. Next thing, right? Check the console. No errors. Compiled successfully. Look in the browser. There we go. We got it. Okay. So same thing. We did some refactoring. We got it working. Now you add your stuff. This isn't a Git repository, so I'm not going to do that. But add your stuff, commit it, like add board.js, okay, and then push it if you want to. Okay, cool. So that's a pretty good start so far. So go ahead and do that. Try to catch up to where I am right now. If possible, do it on your own, and then we'll come back and keep plugging away at it.